So, hello everyone, welcome to our Salesforce Admin Community Groups event. So today we are going to talk about to learn about the AMPscript basis with the champion Pankaj Namdeo. So I am Sanjida Yasmin. I am the leader of Dhaka Bangladesh Salesforce Community Groups, and we are going to we are divided into four parts. One, basically, first we will introduce ourselves and some networking issues. You guys can do some whoever are joining from whatever the country you are, you can write into the chat box where are you from, and you can paste your LinkedIn ID so that we can connect with each others. And the second will be the basically it's specific sessions of like MP scripts. So we will go into the details. Our champion will let us know what is the MP scripts and how it can be used, and all sort of detailed things. And the third part, we will have quiz competitions. So basically, we will give you a quiz, and that's the competitions that will be specific for our marketing clouds. And end of the session, we will wrap up. So let's get started. So let's welcome our guest, the Pankaj. And I would like to Pankaj to give you the floor to introduce yourself. Pankaj, can you hear me?
Absolutely. You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so that sounds very exciting. So we have got 18 guests today with us who will be sharing their experiences along with us. It's not a one-way session, guys. So we are over here sharing our experiences. I'll share some experiences from my side, and certainly I'll expect you to reciprocate with certain kind of questions and adding on to those use cases. So that's how it's going to be today. Let me start by saying there is Suprabhat. That's how it's called in Bangla, Suprabhat. And I wanted to quickly say was Apni Kemon Nache. So I hope I'm making some sense over here. So yeah. Yeah, so thanks for inviting Sanjida and Imtiaz for me for today's session. So let me quickly introduce myself, and the way we'll be conducting this session is, and Sanjida has made some points over here, the way we'll be conducting these sessions. But first part would be about introduction, some nuances in terms of why AMPscript. We'll be talking about why AMPscript is required. In the meantime, I'll be also doing some polls. So please be very active on Chatter, which is on the right hand side. You can mention your comments in terms of 1, 2, and 3, which I'll be asking the questions. And then after that, we'll look into what is AMPscript and how it is done on the system. So 3 parts. First part is why AMPscript is required. Second part is your how it is done, and in the system we'll also see in the terms of demo. So this is how the session is categorized. I'll take approximately 1 hour 15 minutes to complete this session.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Absolutely. So yesterday, big festival in Bangladesh, our friends. So happy Posh Sankranti and Sankrain, whatever it is called, either ways. But yes, absolutely. And same kind of festival is celebrated in India as well. So we call it Sankranti, and it's Happy Posh Sankranti. Let me congratulate for you, my brothers and sisters based out of Bangladesh, for a nice festival. So may light and festivities increase your enjoyment in life. Okay. So what is the agenda for today? I actually touched base on the agenda for today. So let me get to the state content. Let me give me a moment and I'll show you what actually I mean by person. So I'll just, for a moment, I'll unhide and open my mail and show you what personalization. Everybody talks about personalization and what it means. Just give me a moment. In the meantime, can anybody answer what does personalization means specifically in the chat window? Till the time I'm actually looking for that email. which I wanted to show you. Anybody can put in the chat personalization means to them from a context of email. Let's be more specific. From the context of email, what does personalization means to you? Because AMPscript is used for personalizing. What does it mean? Anybody? Okay, so people are responding specific person to person, receiver's attribute, someone's individual requirement, one-to-one customize. Absolutely. Yash has got actually a pretty much good definition going right now in the chat. It's too long for me to read, but let me come to my point, which I wanted to show you. Their definitions right, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, in the meantime, I can update that everybody is answering the questions about the personalizations, what they are understanding. Okay, Ashwin Joshi is right, like gives free hand to communicate customers directly with their area of interest. It looks like people are really interested to learn more about the personalizations and things like that, because everybody is getting the email, the personalized contents, and every day is like advertisement from whatever the sections they are handling.
Absolutely. Thanks, Sanjita, for taking that. So I've got my window open. So can you see that email? So FYI, Grammarly is a tool that is used to actually make yourself writing better on the internet. So it helps you with all kind of suggestions, starting from basic spelling mistakes to actually making good construct as a sentence. So that is the app I would recommend, highly recommend for you to also use. I've got a free subscription. So now they have sent me an email which has got highly personalized content or information about me. I'll show you. So what they're saying is, if you see, so see what they're saying is you are productive from 93% of the Grammarly users. Now over here, see what they have done is they have checked my 23,000 odd words that I have written in the last month. See, I've got mastery. So alert. They have shown me 124 alerts while writing various kind of documentations. I have used around 1300 in my content that I have written. It could be email, it could be Word document, it could be chats, whatever the case may be. So can you see that this is the personalization of highest quality in terms of all the specific details about me, which I have done. They have stored it while using their app, and now they are sending me monthly emails telling me how engaged I was or unengaged I was in terms of unique words that I've used, in terms of alerts that they have shown. Okay, and what kind of tone I have written. So this is a kind of high quality personalization at display. By the way, Grammarly uses Marketing Cloud to send their email. So this email was sent by Marketing Cloud to me, FYI. So understand. So personalization doesn't only mean first name and last name. Okay, obviously it can be first name, last name, details like what is the time, what did I make a purchase about. That is correct. That is everybody's. This is the next level of personalization that I was talking about. And you can do that with the help of AMPscript. AMPscript is a language which is in Marketing Cloud, within Marketing Cloud, and you can do it with the help of that. So that's about Marketing Cloud personalization. I hope everybody is with me right now in terms of why do we need AMPscript. Imagine if this email came to me saying with a general message that you have been working very good, you have written, let's say, only 10 articles, information which is very generic in nature. I would have not seen it. Probably the reason is you might also not have seen it. So this is the kind of personalization that can be achieved with the help of AMPscript. Okay, so a small example to display why AMPscript is very, very important and to do that. Okay, FYI, This could have been done with the help of something else, but I wanted to show you the concept of personalization, specifically talking about this example. Fine. So let me come back to my PPT again. So I think everybody is with me in terms of what kind of what personalization can do to a particular customer. I'm highly impressed with these emails. I do read them a lot in my given time. Okay, now what, why, and how of AMPscripts. That's how we'll be covering this session. As I mentioned in the beginning of the session, what is AMPscript, why it is used, so started with, and then how of AMPscript will be covering in terms of specifics. What are the syntax, why, how it is used in a particular environment, and then we'll be going into the system to actually see how it is used in Marketing Cloud. Okay, so let me talk about what is AMPscript now. Okay, so AMPscript within the Marketing Cloud umbrella, I like to call it as an umbrella because it has got multiple products inside them. Okay, some of them relatively new, some of them in the old stack. So we are talking about AMPscript, and AMPscript is a proprietary language. When I say proprietary scripting language, what it means is it's only to be used within Marketing Cloud. Okay, and developed for Marketing Cloud, used within Marketing Cloud. It can be used on multiple channels. When I say channels, channels could be email, it could be landing pages, it could be SMSs that you get, or it could be push messages that you get on your apps. Like for example, Uber, you get push messages in order to actually if there is a Sankranti going on, you want to have Uber pushes an discount coupon of 10% for the next 5 rides. So that can be used, AMPscript can be used for all those purposes. Okay, it's one of the languages in Marketing Cloud use cases. There are 3 basic languages in total in Marketing Cloud, AMPscript being one of them, and AMPscript is highly used for personalization. Having said that, you can use other languages like SSJS as well for personalizations and other activities. But today's session is about AMPscript, so we will be talking about AMPscript in detail. Okay, I spoke about use cases, and just be cognizant of the fact that I'll be talking about use cases during my conversations. I just gave an example of Uber. In the occasion of auspicious occasion of Sankranti, they are pushing in to have next 10% off on next 5 rides that you do. So that is a use case that they want to push, and with the help of emails that they are sending out, they can actually push that message. It could be SMS as well, or push messages which you get in Uber app. So that is one of the use case that can be done. And as I said, it could be as simple as first, dear customer, dear Pankaj, dear Sanjida, Imtiaz. It could be as complex as the example that I showed, which showing my all the activities that I have done in last month on the app. Okay, and since it is a good tool to learn, as I said, everybody, I don't need to sell how important Marketing Cloud as AMPscript is these days. Everybody who's spending time over here, let me see how many people are there right now. So we've got 24 people in total. So I've got 24 people in total attending this. So I'm pretty sure we all know how important AMPscript and Marketing Cloud is these days. I need not to sell you that. So AMPscript is used a lot in these cases. Okay. So what else we have got? Okay. What could be the possible use cases? So we spoke about Grammarly. I gave you a good example to start with about Grammarly, an app which is giving me very personalized data points about the way I am actually interacting with their app. Okay. It could be, again, it could be an email which is sent as a reset password, wherein you are giving the details about what time you have actually reset the password. Generally, it is within seconds. Okay, you can give the username details for that person. For example, Pankaj Namdeo, you have this is the username, and you can also give the data points in terms of the IP addresses from where the request came. Those are the common use cases. Another use case that I can think of is the email that you get at the end of the month to give your purchase history from an Amazon of the world. Okay, so if there is an purchase in the Amazon you have done, and you might get a summary at the end of the month saying that these are the 4 products that you have purchased, 1, 2, 3, 4. This was the time it was purchased, this was the amount it was purchased for, and this is the details of that. So those data points can be easily retrieved with the help of AMPscript and displayed on the email. Uh, I'll be specifically talking about email because that is for that general understanding is there. Everybody interacts on emails, but that is again applicable to landing pages, SMSs, and your push messages as well. So when I say email, it might be applicable to all these 4 channels as well, but I'll be specifically taking the name of the email because everybody of you is well versed with that. So I gave you 3 4 use cases till now, and depending on how much complexity that you want, you saw there was some complex what do you say, there was some complex data that was retrieved for me in that Grammarly email that I displayed. So it could be as complex as that, and it could be as simple as first name, last name, time at which the email is sent. It could be as simple as that. Yes, it could be based on the gender. You want to display a different so if you get an email from Amazon that you want to purchase, so Sanjita, can you name me a good Amazon company like Amazon with the help in Bangladesh? So I can take that name in my reference. So Amazon would be there, I'm presuming. What else is there? Like Flipkarts of the world over here in India. So if you can,
we have Daraz, we
Daraz,
have, yeah, and we have Picabo,
Pickabo.
and yeah, so
Great.
the
So I'll use their name. So companies like Pickabo, Daraz are there with whom you make purchases. So they can give you a lot of data about you. Okay. So that can be personalized with the help of AMPscript. Okay, real-time information can also be provided, and you can also do a lot of things in terms of impressions. Okay, so that's the reason we use AMPscript, and I'm presuming I've given you 4 use cases till now to actually think of why and how our AMPscript is, sorry, what and why of AMPscript till now. So anybody has any confusions right now? I'll take a logical pause and ask for any questions if anybody has. Anyone?
uh, Pankaj, I have seen one ask the question, what is GTL?
Okay,
Kader
so
asked
that
the
is,
question.
yeah, so that is a different language within the marketing cloud ambit. Okay, third, one of those 3 that I've spoken about, one is your AMPscript, one is your SSJS, and one is your GTL. Okay, the guided handle template language, that's the full form, and it is used for that. I'll provide a link. If somebody can you actually just provide a link of GTL on Trailhead, that could be helpful for Kedar, but that's a separate use case. We don't use GTL a lot, honestly. So, and personally, I have also not worked on GTL, but I know what GTL is and how does it work. But if somebody is able to respond to that question, that's how you can do that. Fine. Tracking expressions, yes, we'll talk about it. There are certain functions in that to do that. Okay. Did I say expressions? It was impressions. So yes, I think Yes was asking expressions. It's impressions. So basically, we'll talk about impressions. There are certain functions to do that. Yes. So I read it. Yes, thanks Sanjita for answering that. So that's about AMPscript in terms of what is AMPscript and why it is used. And everybody's in with me on the same page in terms of how important it is these days to actually learn AMPscript. So I need not to sell that. Okay. Before beginning on the next section, what I wanted to talk about was personalization strings. There's a concept of personalization strings, which you might have seen in Marketing Cloud. If you have some experience, you might have not have. These are also called your uh, merge fields as well in other concepts. If you have used Outlook, you can actually do those merge fields as well. So something of that same concept, which is there in Marketing Cloud. Okay, so what basically personalization strings do is it's a inbuilt, these are inbuilt strings which starts with ampersand ampersand and then end with ampersand ampersand. There are key inbuilt uh, features with the help of which you can get a lot of data points in the email if you want. Okay, and these are typically subscribers attributes, like for example name. You can get the system attributes as well, for example the subscriber key, the context. These personalization strings can be used on subject line. Okay, I'm presuming everybody has used email in their lives till now, so everybody is aware what is subject line, what is a pre-header, what is the content, what is the body. I'm presuming everybody is aware of that, so I need not to get into specifics of that. However, if that is not the case, please put it on the chat and somebody can help you out with that. Okay, so personalization strings can be used on pre-headers. It could be used on subject line as well as the content of the body. or the email. So it can be used everywhere. Okay, so as I said, they are also called merge fields as well as substitution strings. Okay, so before that, I just wanted to, okay, so let me complete this slide, and then I wanted to take you back to a very good story, and I just wanted to understand the importance of actually using personalization and doing it correctly. So I'll talk about that. There is recently last year, right, really nice incident happened. So remind me in case I forget on the chat that if in the flow of the presentation I forget, I wanted to take you through that story. Okay, so personalization strings. I was talking about, the reason I'm talking about personalization strings are, these are the out of the box feature that is provided by Marketing Cloud, with the help of which you can actually personalize the email. These are not AMPscript, these are provided by the system itself. So you can use these attributes, personalization strings, to display, as I said, name, first name, last name, email details like when the email was sent, what is the job ID. These are some system email related attributes. You can also talk about profile centers. You can also get information about message context, subscriber key of that particular person, job IDs. All these details you can actually get the information about, which doesn't require any AMPscript. The reason I'm talking about personalization string before getting into AMPscript is, this is also used for personalization, and you should make use of that. Okay, instead of writing AMPscript functions, if there is the first name or the last name or the subscriber key or any other attribute, please make use of that. I would recommend that. And just quickly showing you about what is the functions out there. Let me see if I can find. So I've got a link to show you, and that's the helps.salesforce.marketingcloud link, which, by the way, this should be inserted over here. So this PPT that I'll share, I've got a lot of links as well, okay, for your reference. So once this presentation is done and Sanjita and Imtiaz will actually provide this presentation, you can see a lot of links in the notes section of each slide, at least most of them. Click on that, you'll get some more detailed information about that particular slide. Okay, so this is personalization strings I was talking about. So if I click on the personalization string, and I hope the font is good, however, I'll increase it. See, if I want to get the month in which the email was sent, if I simply use ampersand xt month, I'll get that data automatically from the system. Okay, just like that, if I use message context, I'll get to see in what context I have sent that email. If the person has sent it, it is previewed, it is viewed. All those data points can be provided by the system. Okay, so that's a detailed list of all the personalization strings that are provided by the platform. Highly recommend you to go through and read that. Some of them are really useful, like email address, for example, full name. These are the ones for the customer, subscriber key, list. All those data points can be actually retrieved with the help of this without AMPscript. Okay, so I actually wanted to quickly show you something. So this is Marketing Cloud, by the way, and now from going on, hopefully if I can complete this session, I'll show you all the functions and specifics, data points in Marketing Cloud. So I've logged into my Marketing Cloud instance, and I've created a sample email for displaying all the functions that are there in AMPscript. So I'll quickly click on that. I'm not getting to specifics how to do that, because session specifically talks about Marketing Cloud AMPscript. Hence, I'm actually doing it in front of you. So let me do that. Okay. Okay. So now if you see on the left-hand side, what I've done is I have created some. Let me remove some of the unwanted ones. I've created some of the personalization strings, if you see, and I've just added in the body of that email, the email that I have prepared to show you that. Okay. And let me just, it's already saved. So let me show you a preview of that. I'm not sending this email, but I'll show you the preview of how it behaves. Okay. So you get what I was talking about. See the message context. I'm actually seeing this in preview mode. Hence, it is giving me this. The email name that is used is decoding AMPscript. So that's the internal information. Full name of the month in which the email was sent, it's January. It's actually getting that XT month. Job ID, right now it hasn't been sent, so job ID is 0, that is system attributes. Subscriber key is 1234. If you see this value, this is customer ID, this is subscriber key that I have used in this particular example. So subscriber key is this. So this is the small simple demo of how personalization strings can be used to display the data for that particular customer. Everybody with me on this till now, personalization strings? Because now what I'll do is I'll try and move a bit faster, because I've already spent 40 minutes and AMPscript demos are yet to happen. So is everybody with me? And can I get yes or no? Everybody with me? Can I get in the general chat? Yes. Great. Okay, so Vignesh, you have a right question. I misspelled it. Ampersand. It was actually percentage. My bad. Thanks for correcting, Vignesh. So ampersand personalization string is actually percentage. Amps percent, it came because of AMPscript. So guilty as proven. So yeah, let's move. Somebody is actually pointing. Let's accelerate. Okay, fine. AMPscript. So now what I'll do is quickly get onto AMPscript. And AMPscript is a collection of functions which are 148 in numbers. So in AMPscript, you cannot actually create new functions for your purpose. Those are inbuilt into the platform, 148 functions. What you can do is you can make use of them. For example, add function to add two numbers. You can call that function, pass on the values, get a desired output of addition. So that's how AMPscript is built. And as I said, there are multiple resources which I'll probably provide at the notes section. But yes, out of those 148 functions that are there, there are certain categories of functions. Some of them I'll talk about, some of them I won't. But yes, for your information, see, these are the categories of functions. Like there are certain categories of function which cater to API, basically integrating with external systems. There are certain category of functions which talk about contacts, content. We'll be talking about data extension related functions today. Date and time function, I'll quickly talk about it. Something related to encryption and decryption, while actually decrypting or encrypting links in Marketing Cloud, for example. HTTP, there are certain basic maths function. Dynamics, forget about it, because it's retiring, or I think it's already retired, so let's not talk about it. Something related to Salesforce, you can directly interact with Salesforce objects from AMPscript as well. So there are certain category of functions. Cloud pages, social, strings, and utilities functions are there. So these are some of the categories of functions that are used in AMPscript. We'll be talking about utilities, some string related functions, date and time, and the last one would be to talk about your data extension functions. Okay, with certain examples into the system I'll talk about. So that is a category of AMPscript functions that are there, and you can have a look at them. Okay, before that, quickly, how of AMPscript, just one more slide. In fact, I should actually, before moving into that, I should change the order of execution. For everybody's reference, since I'm getting a bit delayed into the session, I won't go into details, but for your understanding, this is interpreted language. AMPscript is an interpreted language. Please Google and search about what is difference between interpreted language and a compiled language. Compiled language could be like C, C++, okay, Java. Interpreted language is a different language which is not compiled, which is interpreted for the on the platform which is made for, in this case, Marketing Cloud. So it's an interpreted language. Go and read about it. It's a good, interesting read. Then order of execution. Okay, so in any email, there are these four parts, primarily pre-header, not primarily, but all of them: pre-header, HTML, text body, and subject. Now, how the AMPscript flow happens is starting from the pre-header. Then next, it goes and checks is the HTML body, then the text body, and then finally the subject. Okay, that's how the flow happens from top to bottom in an email. Okay, and if I go and open that email, so and go back over here. Okay, so this is your subject in Marketing Cloud I'm talking about. This is where your subject lies, which is executed at the last. This is your pre-header. Then this is your email content. Okay, so if I go back and show you, so pre-header that you write in pre-header from an AMPscript perspective, which you can use in pre-headers and subject as well, that it happens one first, then the HTML body format, then the text body if you have created, and then the subject. So this is how it flows. The reason I'm talking about is, if you declare something in subject, okay, sorry, if you do something in pre-header, for example, and you define the function or logic in the HTML body and use that function in pre-header, it won't come to fruition. It won't execute, because the real function logic is written over here and you're calling that function before that. So that's the reason this flow becomes very important. Okay, then now we'll start with how of AMPscript in terms of, so we have discussed about what, why, we spoke about personalization string. Now fourth thing is we are talking about how of AMPscript. What are the basic nuances in terms of syntax of that particular AMPscript language? AMPscript can be written in these three formats. Majority of the cases that I have used first and second only. Okay, formats to be chosen. You can use either first and second. Second and third could be used interchangeably if they require, but at least we use first and second a lot. So if you see how it is used, percentage equals, and then end with the same syntax, and then you write your function over here, whatever the function that you want to write. Mostly, let's say for example, output of a variable. Similarly, for AMPscript block, if you want to write a logic, it's generally written in a block. And how do I start this? With this notation, end this with the same notation, and I write my logic over here in the middle. For the tag aspect, if you want to write in a tag perspective, this is how it is written. Okay, server name language is AMPscript, and then whatever code that you want to write, and then you end that with the same tag. So that's are three ways of writing AMPscript within Marketing Cloud. Okay. Okay. So now this slide talks about which one to use in which scenario. So if you see, first one is called inline, whereas percentage equals. So like, for example, the function is lowercase and then you write favorite color. Favorite color could be a variable in this case, but for an explaining perspective, it is used for simple outputs. And where all it's used, this column talks about very clearly where all these functions could be used. Okay, however, this is not exhaustive list. You can use it somewhere else as well, depending on your use case. But this is a general guidance in terms of the people who are starting. But depending on the use case, it could be different. Now, second one is AMPscript block. The AMPscript block is used for more complex code with multiple steps or logic. So basically, if there is some logic in terms of retrieving the data from a data extension for a particular person, then you write that code over here. And we'll look into that example once we reach to that stage of the system. And then AMPscript tag, third one. I mean, again, it can be written for the complex code with multiple logics. And primarily, if you're a JavaScript background person, then you might find it a bit easier for that context. But yes, as I said, second and third, a lot of people use interchangeably. I personally use first and second a lot. I haven't used third a lot. However, this is similar to SSJS syntax. So that's how it might be used. But I generally use first and second type of notation. Okay. So now these are some of the characters that it will be starting. Some of them we have already discussed, so we won't be going into this. But yeah, last three ones are something that I need to, last four ones. For example, data extension. So this is with some kind of logical understanding that you have, these are pretty much self-explanatory things in terms of what are the syntax. So for example, if nobody has any knowledge of programming, they might have to see, but this context or this logic is used across the places. So for example, inverted commas, it is used to define a literal thing. For example, a data extension name or a column name, for example. Grouping, okay, so it helps in. Then of course this one, this symbol shows we want to talk about this variable. So add the money is a variable, okay, and v at the rate, if I just encompass this v, basically this is talking about the value of that variable, which is at the rate all. Okay, that's how this function talks. V at the rate all the money. So all the money is a variable which has got some value. We talking about displaying that value. That's simple. Okay, I hope everybody is following me till now. Okay, just some more references in terms of what is the first one. This is how you define variables. Okay, variables, variable, var @cats. If you are defining a variable or a placeholder, then next second line is about setting that value in the variable. So in this case, cat breed is actually being fed into this placeholder called @cat. So @cat value has cat breed. So basically, you are defining some values and attaching some values to those placeholder or variables. You can specify literal words, you can specify data extension values as well. And in the final line item, you can see it's actually displaying the values which is stored in cat's variable. Okay, for example, if I take a third line, it should display tabby. Yeah, so I hope everybody is with me till now as far as syntax is concerned. Okay, so now these are some of the comparisons operators in terms of what comparison operators are used for your functioning of AMPscript, like equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than on the first table. So I'm presuming this is pretty much across the board in terms of any kind of logical programming language. If I use, they're pretty much standard. Okay, this for AMPscript, this is how it is. Join operators, basically logically anding and oring of conditions that can be used over here as well. And then conditional operator, if, else, and end if. So basically, this is used for doing logical operations. In our example, we'll go through that as well. So those are the comparisons, join operators, as well as the conditional operators. Okay, now, so from here on, what we'll do is, the way it'll work out is, and we have got 10-15 minutes only. What we can do is, we'll take a look at these functions, what it does, quickly go into my demo org, show you the output of that, and try and explain you how it works. Okay, and these functions, if you have done some previous language, these are pretty much straightforward, with obviously some nuances that might change with respect to how it is done in Marketing Cloud, but pretty much standard. But I'll take you through what are date functions, miscellaneous functions, what are math functions. Probably we can skip it because it becomes self-explanatory, and then we'll go to the data extension ones. Last one, but that is also an important one. So is everybody with me till now? Yes, can I get a quick yes? Thanks, Vignesh, for
yes.
adding that.
I would like to add that here is a question from Jignesh. Actually, Jignesh has some doubt about the script. Like he said that each syntax will change for each AMPscript type. It will change. Yeah, each syntax will change for each AMPscript type. Like
I didn't get the question. So Vignesh, if you can just print it back. I didn't get the context. Maybe you can type it in the Q&A section and probably we'll have a look. But if you are asking in terms of inline and you have got your tags, then probably syntax will change. Yes. If that was your question, I'm not sure if that is the case, but yes. Okay. The team is quickly waiting. I think Raghavan said yes. Vignesh. Okay. Vignesh said yes. So probably that was the question. So I've answered that. Thank you. Let's quickly move on. Now, what we'll do is we'll more look into the system. Okay. And less into the PPT. This is only for reference purposes. Okay. This is my function. So let me. So in the paucity of time, what I've done is I've got some ready-made code there. With the help of it, I can show you the functions. Okay. So now what I've done is I have created few functions over here. If I come back to the PPT, so these are different functions. If you see inline ones, okay, percentage equals. Yeah. So now one, these are two different about the specifics. Then these are this formatting of dates, format date, add 30 days to the whatever date is there, today's date difference. What you want to find out the different days, that is difference between the two dates, you can find out. So these are some functions which are related to date. However, this is not the exhaustive list. The The exhaustive list, if you want, you can go to developer or AMPscript. Where is that page? If I've got, okay, this is a very good AMPscript guide which you can go and see. And go here as well. So this has got the exhaustive list of functions over there. So let me just paste it. Oh, my bad. Okay, so let me just go into the system now and show you each one of them in the preview mode, of course. Okay, so now I'm testing this email against this particular record. So if you see, these are the records which has got these values, and I'm just testing it, okay, against that. So let's go on and see. Okay, so the local time for the user, okay, for everybody's understanding, the time zone that Marketing Cloud works is in CST time zone, central. Okay, so it will give you a central time zone time if you ask him in a plain simple English. But if you want to change it to what the local user is, you have to use that function. Okay, local time. So see, the local time for the users is right now, this is the time. Okay, it's 6 minutes to 12 right now in India. So that's what the local time which is set in the org for me is displaying. But if I ask for the now time, if I put this now function, it gives me the date as well as the function in CST time. So right now it's CST time, it's 12:30 in the morning, 15th of Jan. So that's what it's showing. Now there is now with a passing value of 1. The difference between is right now it's showing the same one. If I send this email to you, okay, and so if you open the email right away, both these will be showing you the same time. But if you open the email one day after that, this will show you the now time. This will be, these two would be different. Can anybody tell me quickly in the chat why it would be different? Anyone? Now and now one. Thanks, Yash, for putting that link out there. Can anybody Google it quickly, talk about what is the difference between now and now one? There's an interesting thing on Stack Exchange for that. I won't get into specifics now, but I want that answer for somebody if you can help me. Fine. So, and then date add function. So there's a function about adding the date. So for example, the use case is that today you're sending the email and you're telling the customer this offer will expire in next 7 days. So you can use this function to add 7 days onto that and say that your offer will expire on, let's say, 14th of Feb. For example, it was 30 days in this function that I've used, 30 days. So next month this offer will expire. So that could be a use case of date add functions. I hope I'm making sense in terms of these functions. Difference. If I want to make a difference between two dates and I want to calculate what is the days that is different, 10 days, 5 days between, let's say for today and next 14th of Feb, how many days difference should be that? I can use these functions. And there are plethora of functions which is related to doubt. One word of caution based on my experience, date functions are always tricky in nature. No matter where you either use it in Excel or in any complex language or over here AMPscript. The theory remains the same. So date functions, using it with a certain set of caution, always a bit tricky. You have to do some hidden trial to understand how it works in some cases. So just bear with that in this context. By the way, I'm presuming everybody has used Excel till now. So since everybody has used Excel, AMPscript functions behave the same way in Excel. Okay, just like if you use add and pass two values to that function, it gives you the output. That's how AMPscript functions was. If I want to give an analogy to you, yeah, fine. So that is about date functions. What functions do we got next? Okay, so we have got some miscellaneous functions. These are very useful to provide a really good customer experience. For example, trimming white spaces, replacing certain values. Okay, length. If you want to calculate length of a particular string, you want to get a substring out of from a string. So you've got substring function. Then you've got index of functions. You want to get index in this variable. Where is the value that adl starts with? So it could be 1, 2, 3 like that. So these are the values it could output. Okay, so these are some miscellaneous functions that can be used in order to actually as I said, in some cases provide a good customer values, provide for example, if you want to say length, you can in your triggered email after resetting password, you can give a message saying that the password has to be of length, let's say 8, which is a standard these days. So this kind of functions will be used to enhance experience, or in some cases do some calculations as well. Okay, so now let me use those functions to show you how it works. Okay, let me get back to my content. Okay, so now I've added a couple of functions which I'll show you as well by clicking on it. What I've done is a couple of miscellaneous functions to showcase how it can be used. I mean, how to is fine, is just that what all can be used for. And there, as I said, multiple of them. Just need to, why it's not clicking. Let me go to next. Okay, let me just go back now, double click it. Yeah, finally. Let me remove that. Okay, so now see, what I'm doing is I'm using trim function to trim this white spaces, which is in the beginning and at the end of this word. Then what I'm doing is I'm actually calculating length of this word password over here. I can, okay, let me use something else big. Okay, then what I'm doing is substring. I'm actually, this is a value of this substring, and I'm just extracting that from 7th place and give me next 4 words. That's what I'm doing. So 7, next 4 word would be 7890 basically. Simple use, but yes, very important. Let me save and move back to the next step to preview that how it is used. See, it has actually trimmed the word hobby. The length is 14, that I randomly type that word. The length it is giving 14, and the substring is 7890. So basically it's in that from 1 to 0, I had written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. From 7th to give me the next 4 words. So this is how you can use. And what is the use case? This is used for actually trimming any white spaces, which can be used to increase customer experience. This is used to showcase the password length, which could be wrong. For example, this substring can be used to actually concatenate, so not concatenate, but display a part of the string which you want to talk about. Okay, so let's say first name, last name, there is a space, or there is certain characters you can use, get last name as well. So like that, use cases it can be used for. I hope everybody is with me till now. Can I get a good yes, just to make sure people are not sleeping? I hope that people are chatter is going on. Doesn't look like adding that now. Okay, thanks Prakash, Saurabh. That's how I wanted to envisage this session, where people are actually adding value to the session instead of just listening. So please keep this chatter on. This is very, very important for the people like me, you, and the community host like Sanjida and Imtiaz, because this is what we strive for. This is support of the community. So thanks guys. Please carry on. Okay, moving on to the next part. And I won't show this, pretty basic, because I wanted to cover something very important. I want to spend 5-10 minutes over here. So I just want to talk quickly about math function. What are these 4 functions that I'm talking about? Add, subtract, multiply, divide. Basic functions to do mathematical functions used on the table. If I want to, if the invoice is for 3 different products that I have purchased, I can actually add those 3 values and show you the total amount that is spent. Okay, that can be use case for add. Similarly, multiply. If I have purchased 3 products of the same unit price, I can multiply and show you the invoice for one product is for 100, then 3 products, 100 into 3, 300 rupaya. Yeah, so that use case for add, subtract, multiply, and divide functions. It could be many more, but some of the use cases. How I would stop myself to go into the this thing into the demo. However, I'll move on to the next section, giving the paucity of the time. Now, I'll talk about for loops. Okay, so for loop is a logical function which is provided within Marketing Cloud AMPscript, and the for loop remains common across languages. Way to use is for @i is a variable that you declare elsewhere, and then you want to run this function, then write do as a keyword, make sure whatever code you want to write over here, then end if, and then restart the loop. So basically, if you want to do recursive kind of logic on a particular data extension, for example, you can use for loop, and we will see a use case of doing that. Okay, so not getting too much specifics about how because I'll be writing the code, deriving the code, and talking about that. Then very key important functions are lookup functions. These are data extension related functions. Okay, where what we are doing is we are retrieving values from a data extension. Okay, so lookup, there are two basic functions. There are many more: lookup ordered rows, CS, and all those. But we'll be specifically in this session talking about lookup and lookup rows. Okay, so lookup is used if I want to. So this is query or SQL syntax that you write where you want to retrieve a particular row out of that data extension. For example, where city is equal to Dhaka, give me the name of the customer whose city is equal to Dhaka. It gives you that row. Okay, but what lookup rows does is it gives you in your table it could be multiple subscribers who have got their city as Dhaka. So in that case, it will give you multiple values. That's what the second function that is that lookup rows. Okay, and it gives you, they have given the sample code for that as well, which is talking about this is how you start lookup, and then the name of the data extension under inverted commas, name of that column which you want to retrieve from, what is the condition. So next to our conditions where member ID is equal to this value. So that's what it says. So it's essentially the way to read as, that's how I use it. To this data extension, get me this column where this column equals to this value. Simple to read it. Yeah, everybody could be till now? I hope yes. Great. Next one is, and it will give you one value. It will return you one single value. Now, there could be a scenario, as I said, that there are multiple people, subscriber in your list or data extension which are living in city equal to Dhaka. What this system will throw and what will throw. Can anybody give me a quick answer to that on the chat window? What will happen if my use case that I retrieve number of customers who are living in Dhaka? What these two functions will display, and what is the difference? What is the difference? I told you, it will give you one value, it will give you multiple value if they are existing. But the major difference that somebody might be typing as well, but it will give you one of the values that we are not sure, 100% sure that system could be three values. Which value it will give? It will give you one value out of three. This will give you three values if that is the case. We'll look at specific details in the demo. But I hope I'm making sense over here in lookup and lookup rows with a particular use case that I'm talking about. If I'm going too fast, let me know. I can go a bit slow, but that this construct to understand is very, very important. Am I making sense over here? Do you want me to take a small? I think I need to go into the demo mode now. So everybody all good? Yes, can give me yes or one as a thumbs up to show that I'm going at a pretty nominal speed, but everybody is able to comprehend because most of the cohort belongs to first category, which is 0 to 6. Hence, I want everybody to give me that I'm not rushing too much because this function needs to be understood properly in order to do a use case, in order to give an understanding of how it is used. Good. So I'm getting a couple of yeses. I hope it's going good. Okay, fine. So I understood the context that everybody is taking it fairly nicely. Okay, so lookup and lookup functions. These are the two functions. And as I said, there are multiple of them. Lookup ordered rows, lookup CS. But I'm not getting into specific details of that function. Now, moving on. AMPscript functions. Okay, so these are the two examples that I have given. You can just skip that slide if you have taken that into context. Now talks about the demo time. Okay, let me get into demo mode for this particular function. Let me get back to my stage and let me talk about the use case for displaying lookup. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. I have zoomed up enough for everybody to understand. Okay, so what I have done is, if you see over here, what I have done is this is a content block. Okay, rather content block, that AMPscript block, in which I have actually defined, and this is an inline function. Okay, so just quickly taking you back to my slide where I was talking about, where it was. Come on. Okay, inline and block. Yeah, so that is the use of that, just to reference it. So what I have done is over here, and just to quickly show you the data extension as well. So I'll just quickly refresh it. Marketing Cloud is known to be sometimes moody. So I hope it doesn't embarrass me over here, because sometimes data extension don't open, you refresh it back to that home page. So I hope it doesn't happen with me, but yes, it's happening. Something is loading. So I wanted to show you the data extension from where I'll be talking about. And so I'll give a use case. What are the use cases over here? There is a certain data extension in which I have stored the details of my customer. Okay, and I want to display the list of people who are, let's say, who belong to city called Dhaka. So for example, this is the data extension, customer data extension new. That's the name for this. I've just specifically created this use case for this demo purposes for today's session. So I've got a list of people in which they have their customer IDs, which is my subscriber key, customer name. I'm not getting to specifics of subscriber key and everything. This is not for this session, but yes, this is my subscriber key, FYI. Customer ID, I've got the customer name, emails, I've got the customer where they are residing across the world, and what is their age. So this is the data point that I have. And the use case is I want to identify certain set of people based on certain conditions. For example, city. For example, age. I want to identify those people. So I display them, display the data. So that is the data. And I'll be using this data extension to retrieve the value and display with the help of those lookup and lookup, what was that? Lookup rows function. Okay. Okay. So now what I'm doing over here is, this is a AMPscript block. What I'm doing is I'm declaring two variables, straightforward, which is a variable declaration syntax. Then I'm setting values in that. See what I'm doing. I'm setting values. What is the subscriber key? This is a subscriber key which is getting from the context. What is the context? Means against the person whom I'm sending this email. Okay. Subscriber key would be, in my case, I'll get this value, for example, 1234. And this will be during the runtime. So if I am sending it against this customer, I'll get 1234, 1235, 1236, depending on against whom I'm sending this. So what I'm getting is I'm getting the subscriber key and storing it in this lookup value variable. Now, this is the use of that function. So what I'm doing is I'm using this lookup function. I'm telling this function to go new table, give me customer name whose customer ID is equal to 1234. Okay. So give me that customer name, and I have got 1234 over here. Okay, only the first one. Okay, so go to this table, which is customer D new. Give me the customer name, display the customer name, that is customer name 1 will be displayed, whose customer ID is equal to 1234. That's a simple operation I'm doing. So now, and then finally what I'm doing is I'm displaying that. Nothing too detailed about it. I'm just displaying that value, the next line. So I'm saying customer name. What is the customer name? Is everybody with me till now? I hope yes. So let me move and show you the display points. Now I'm previewing you with the against a particular record which will be showed over here. See, against this record. So the data subscriber key matches over here. Customer name 1. This is the customer name. That's what I asked. Correct? Show me the customer name where subscriber key is this one. That's what it's showing, customer name now. Now, if I change the person against whom I'm sending this email, next record, what will happen? See, still giving the same value. Make sense, everyone? Okay, so that was about lookup. Now, what we'll be next talking about is two important things. One is for loop, and then is lookup rows, this function. Let me come back. Where is that? Okay, we spoke about lookup function till now. We'll talk about lookup rows now. Okay. Okay, let's get back into our structure. Let me see that example. So just hang on with me. What I've done is I have written a function to do the same action that I was doing till now, but function, this is lookup rows this time. Okay, so now what I've done is, if you see, and I'll just quickly explain this with a logic. Don't get too much bogged down with the syntax. The reason being, if you are new to AMPscript, the chances are it'll take some time for you to get to used to it. But idea is to understand the logic, why I'm writing this and how I'm writing it to an extent. That's what the understanding from this session should take. Into specifics of syntax, because that will take some time. And in a lot of cases, you might want to Google it as well. Some cases, if there are certain functions which I've forgotten, I simply go to developer.salesforce.org, those help sites, in order to actually find out what is the exact syntax of that. So don't fret on that. Okay. So now what I'm doing is, I am actually asking this, in this particular example, what I'm trying to do is, I want to know how many people are there who have got their city is equal to Dhaka. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 line items in which, or rather 4 people who are living in Dhaka. I want to fetch their data. And based on data, I want to do certain actions. But for now, I want to see how many people are actually living in Dhaka as per this list or data extension. Everybody with me till now? And for that, since it is more than one row can come, I need to use lookup row function. Okay, let me get into my content now. Okay, so that's the use case that I'm doing. How do I do it in AMPscript? Okay, with the help of two functions, lookup rows as well as for loop, because I need to recurse into that 4 rows. Okay, that I'll be fetching. So how I'm doing it is, I'm first of all declaring all the variables. Okay, simple declaration of variables, and I'm setting the value of the city as Dhaka. Okay. Then what I'm doing is, over here, I'm using this lookup row function. Remember, I had done that syntax. So what I'm doing is, I'm asking, show me, go to this data extension, get me the city, okay, with this value, wherever this value is there. In fact, give me all the data points from this data extension where city is equal to whatever this variable is, city, in this case, Dhaka. So that's what. So what it will do is, it will go into this data extension and search for all the rows which are for which city is equal to Dhaka. In this case, it will get 4 values. Will it get 4 or 5? Anybody can say me, based on whatever I have told you, it will give me 4 or 5 values. 4 or 5? 4. What if I say it will give me 5 values? Anybody? Anybody with me on 5? Because I say 5 values. It will give me 5 values. Quickly. We're running out of time. It's already 17 past 12 IST. Come on. It was a trick question, guys. Thanks, nobody, for falling for it. Great. Okay. So, yeah. So let me come back to my, okay. So now it will give me 4 values, 4 rows. Now what I need to do is, I need to go into each row now with the help of for loop, which I have written with certain if conditions as well. I need to go into a for loop into each of those four values. In this example, it could be hundreds. In enterprise use case, it could be hundreds of rows. But in my case, I need to go into four rows each individually and extract the column values. Let's say name, city, email addresses from those. And how do you do that? You use a if use for loop. Okay. What I've also done is I have used if function just to make sure if I'm getting any, as a best practice, if I'm getting any data points out of it. There might be a scenario that there's no matching row found. So I'm foolproofing my code to make sure that I am getting some values. Then only I want to do this operation. So what I'm doing is I'm running this for loop. Okay. Try and understand what I'm doing. Don't mug up things. Just be with me. And I'll make sure that you understand by the end of this session. So from this for loop will count. Row count is a function which I have calculated the value earlier, which gives me how many rows I have fetched. So in this case, it will be 4. So this loop will run from 1 to 4 because 4 values were retrieved. Now what I'm doing is I'm defining these variables, and with the help of these lines, field function, I'm actually getting the extracting the value of each column in those 4 rows. So let's say if I go, so what I'm doing, I'm just taking which is this row. So the row is set to first row, for example. So now I need to extract the customer name out of it. So from first row, get the customer name, store it in customer name. Again, from the first row, get the email details, column details, get me the age details. First round done. Okay. And then this AMPscript inline block finishes. Again, as I said, top to bottom flow. What I need to do next is I need to display all those values. So I'm just simply displaying. I is row number. What is the row number? So in this case, it will be first. What is the customer name? Customer name, email address, age. I'm just displaying that. And then again, inline AMPscript comes where it says the count. So counter will go to from 1 to 2 now. Again, I'll come back. So now the value of this I is 2. Same logic, but I'll go through the second line item, doing the same logic of setting the row to getting into that row number 2, extracting customer name, email, and age from row number 2, and displaying it. Okay. And then till the time I'm done, that is 4 times it will run. Okay. And then there are again inline functions in case if there is else function, if there is no row found. For example, as a best practice, you should also use this fallback, foolproof your code to say that there is no row found. So this gives an error message, and then you end if that function, okay, that we started on top for. Fine. Everybody with me till now in terms of the logic? Can I get a quick yes in terms of logic? Everybody with me? Because logic matters over here. Syntax can be learned, relearned, and Googled, but logic will take time. So I hope everybody is with me till now and the use case. So if the answer is abundant yes, let me move on. So now what I'll do is I'll show you by clicking on next and taking this example. Okay. So now this is the output it is showing. So it has run 4 times. So I'm displaying row number 1, the customer name, customer 1, email address is same, age is 23. Now I'm displaying 4 rows over here. Customer 1, 7, 8, 9, who have got their city as Dhaka. And if I quickly go over there, 1, 7, 8, 9. See, these are the 4 line items which have got city is equal to Dhaka. Yeah, so 4 line items, and I'm displaying their customer name, email, and age. In this case, I could display all of them if I want. I could display only customer name, but for your benefit, for understanding purposes, I'm only displaying 3 fields for now. I can display more. Let's quickly go and see what if I change it not to Dhaka, but what is the other city which is happening? Let's say London, for example. Or I want to put Delhi. Is there a Delhi? Yes, Delhi is there. So let me put Delhi. Okay. What would be the output? How many rows it will be fetching? Save that. I'm presuming people are answering how many rows it will be fetching because I'm displaying that. It displaying row number 1. Okay, that's value. So that's the match it has got. Customer 6. Yes. So this is the value it is displaying. Is everybody with me till here? Yes. So everybody, right? Once match it will have, and that's what it showed. So over here, what I end my logical session over here. So what we did was in today's session, we learned 4 things. Okay. First thing is in terms what is personalization, why it is used. Thing is what is AMPscript, what is the syntax of AMPscript. Then we saw certain functions of AMPscript, and in the beginning as well we saw the in-depth example of personalizations. So basically covering why, what, how of this particular session. I hope I was able to give you, especially for the people who have just don't have much understanding of AMPscript, some sense of what it, what are the use cases, how it can be used on a basic scale. So quality in the, you were able to take some key takeaways today, because I one thing very clearly out over here, that community is there to certainly one thing that I would like to talk, that community has been doing. I have not answered a single question over here. Everybody is done by, everything is done by the community over here. So dhanyabad at the end, but certainly that was a really kind of interaction that I had. This made my day after running today.